Hey up, Cock, we're going to go through our championship predictions for this weekend's games. First up, Friday night, we've got Wrexham versus Birmingham, which we're going to do for a watch along. We're going to go all the way to Hollywood. 10 to 8, we're live. Now, not to ruin my RPM on a YouTube video here, but this was an absolute wankfest last season. Whether it gets same coverage now they're in championship, I don't know, but I expect it. Camera will be on Deadpool and Tom Brady 24/7, baby. Welcome to the Yankathon. Right, anyway, football. Wrexham recently, the results have been quite good. Performance-wise, I actually saw a stat earlier today. Open play expected goals, Wrexham bottom at league. They are heavily reliant on how good their 11 actually is and the squad in general, as you'd expect with the money that they've spent. Birmingham are a little bit dodgy though. They're obviously not going to hit the same heights as they did last season, but I still expect them to be chipping away a bit better than they are doing. They've lost a lot of games so far, Birmingham. 3 out of last 5 have all been losses, and they've only won once, which were a 1-0 very late against Swansea. Dropped points at home to Wednesday. They got slapped away at Cov. It's not the same Brom. It's not the same intensity as well as last season. I think they've just really dropped off a gear and they're not adapting the play style. Obviously, they didn't have to last season, Birmingham, because they were best team by a mile. But when you're coming up against similar level team to yours, you've got to have a bit of adaptability in you. And I don't think Birmingham have shown that just yet. Wrexham, despite me not being the biggest fan of the play style, the team I am, and I think they're showing, if stupid as this is, I almost think that they can adapt a little bit more than what Birmingham can, just because of the simplicity of what Parky is. Now, the last 3 results, Wrexham, they've been in Norwich and 1, got a point off Derby and a point away at Leicester. That ain't bad going at all. And I think the home aspect is something that both these teams have really got to tap into if they want to be anywhere near top 6, really. I can't even use the experience line, can I really? Because Birmingham have got a lot of them sort of lads as well. I just look at this and fancy them. I don't know whether it is because it's at home midweek. Well, midweek, Friday. Still midweek. Under elites. I don't know whether that's playing into it that I think Wrexham will win here. But Birmingham, I don't know. I'm not right sold on them at the minute. There's just something very clearly missing. I will go with a home win. I'm going Deadpool 2, Brady 1. Go for a 2-1 home win. Now, at start of season, Blackburn and Stoke, I would have probably had them in and around same sort of level. I do think Blackburn will get relegated, unfortunately. I really wish I didn't think that, but I do, with the ownership situation and the lads that they're just getting rid of all the time. It is suicide, really. But Stoke I never really expected a lot of. And to be fair, the actual results in recent weeks haven't been that cracky. They've only won 1 in the last 5. But the performances, these look a good team. As you'd expect, really, with Robbins anyway, giving him a bit of time and some money to bring in his own players. I really didn't think Stoke would be as good as they have been, performance-wise. And I don't honestly think they've been getting as... I don't think they've been getting rubber green for the results. I think the performances warrant more points than they've got. And I look at this for 2 sides that I'd normally instinctively just go, draw, Blackburn, Stoke, who cares? But we are Stoke playing at minute. I think they go to Blackburn and win. If they can keep all 11 men on pitch, which has been a problem for teams at Blackburn this season... Well, you could then try and get a game called off, I guess. I make Stoke favourites here. I think Blackburn lack serious quality, especially going forward. And I think Stoke have got that, to be fair. Again, not been getting rubber green really recently, but I think they will here. I'll go Blackburn 0, Stoke 2. I think they do look a cut above Blackburn at the minute. Hull versus Sheff United. 8 games in, and they've only got points in 1 game so far. Sheffield, they're on 3 points after 8. Only win were away at Oxford. They've lost every other game in all comps, including a 2-1 at home to Southampton midweek, which I really didn't expect, it's got to be said. I do think Southampton got rubber green again on certain decisions and 50-50s. A lot of them went Southampton's way. But ultimately, you can't blame refs for being bottom of the league after 8 games. So I think there's clear problems there that Wilder can't immediately just come and change. And there's a certain man that's going to be playing in orange in this game. He's got a point to prove. Mainly to Sheffield United fans, I think, and we are talking about McBurnie here. He's got 9 goal contributions in 8 games. Hull are playing to his strengths. I do think it's a bit of a kicking nuts that Wilder's not going to be on sidelines for this, because I think he could have just been, he'd have been shelping at McBurnie all game, wouldn't he? That wank! Even though I think they got on, but still, a lot of Sheffield United fans aren't that keen on him, or the ones that I know anyway. And okay, can't be true, can it? But I think Sheffield United are going to go into second international break, 9 games with 8 losses. I think Hull are the better team out of these 2 at the minute, which is obviously very easy to say when there's a 6-point difference in only 8 games. But against a side that I think is going to come and go at them, Sheffield United aren't going to come and play for a draw because it's no good to them. They've got to try and win, and I think that'll just play into Hull's hands, especially with what McBurnie is. And defensively, Sheffield United do look a bit better, but I think he's going to put his body about a little bit and try. He's just going to run centre-backs out of position out wide, isn't he? I think he'll create gaps for the people in an Hull strip. I will say Hull 3. Sheffield United 1, McBurnie ball, baby. Oh, thank God. This is more like it. Wednesday at home to Coventry. Now, last couple of games, I've been saying that I think Wednesday will get tongued. I thought they'd get battered at home to QPR. They ended up getting a point, I believe. Then they've gone to Birmingham midweek. I thought they'd lose that. They ended up snagging a point. And, well, Birmingham snagged a point, really. Birmingham equalised very late on. I think this is the perfect fixture to really just bring them back down to earth. Because Coventry have scored 22 goals in 8 games. They're a promotion contender if I've ever seen one in my life. I do think they will get automatically promoted, me, Cov. They do just look that good. The squad's incredible. I think the defenders are proper rough and ready and will be up for something like this and all. Kitchen Thomas, 2 Bowser boys. Cooler boys! I think across the full season, despite Wednesday looking like they've maybe got a slight sliver of hope, you've got Baz going down with cramp. You can't rinse these lads for full 90s, and they're going to have to for as long as they can. They have to literally play these boys every minute of every game until they drop the more experienced ones. And I just don't know whether they'll be able to last, really. It's a good job that they've got international break next, because fitness-wise, I don't worry for him, but I think it could be an hindrance to Wednesday. But Coventry, miles better side here. They should really put Wednesday to the sword. And recent form is not going to put me off that. I'm going to go Wednesday 0, Coventry 4. I do think they will slap them about. I will get one of them right eventually where they get here for loads. Bristol City and QPR. QPR unbeaten in the last 5 now. They have drawn the last 2 games though, to Wednesday away, which they should have won, and Oxford at home midweek, which again they probably should have won on the surface of things. Sort of dried up in front of goal. They're not creating as many chances as they were in the last few games before that. Wait, Bristol City side that is clearly a good team. Again, these aren't 1-in-3 either. They got tonked at home to Oxford, to be fair, and Oxford were good value for it. Then they went to Preston away and got a draw. Good point. We are good Preston have been so far. And then they got a point at home to Ipswich as well. Again, I think that's quite a good point. These type of sides are tricky. And when both drawing the last 2 games, I hate to say it, but I think it's 3 out bounce for both of them. I don't really see much difference between these two. Maybe slight favourites Bristol City, just with it being the home aspect. But I look at both of these and think they're quite level in terms of where I expect them to be and the players that they've got. And just the general chance of winning this game against each other. I'm going Desi, 2 apiece, Bristol City and QPR. Derby and Southampton. Derby have wiggled their way out at bottom 3 for now, but it's with 1 win in about 7 games. They've not won many at all. In fact, no, it's 1 win in 8. They've only won once all season and they're still 20th. I'm surprised that don't put you in bottom 3, but it shows just how crap it is really at minute. There's no outstanding quality in this division. Apart from Cov, really, a minute. 2 1-1s in a row for Derby. At home to Charlton. Bitter and iffy one, but Charlton aren't a bad side at all. And then away at Wrexham's not a bad result at all. The win for Southampton, though, against Sheff United midweek, is one that I think might spur him on a little bit. Ross Stewart scored twice. It's probably the first time he's scored since he was at Sunderland, and he had that really good year. I feel like I've not heard that name in ages, Ross Stewart. But Derby are going to give a different sort of game to what Sheff United are. Derby won't be as open. They're not going to be as easy to score against as Sheff United are. Despite Sheff United looking defensively a little bit better against Southampton and as games are going on, I think Derby are really just going to, especially at home, are really just going to try and not lose. If they win, it's a bonus. But at home to a side that's come down and spent the money that Southampton have and got the squad that Southampton have, I think Derby will just be alright, chipping away with points at minute, especially in a game like this. Do I think they will do that though? No. To be honest, I think Southampton will come here and win after the Sheff United game. They really put it on them in certain spells. Southampton did against Sheffield. And I think if they can be more consistent across a full 90, they might start springing up table quite fast. But again, so it's a new manager, it's a new system, a fair few new players. It's going to take time to get things going and honestly know your best 11 for Will Still. I think that's its own challenge in itself. But I think they will come to Pride Park and win. I will go Derby 1, Southampton 2. Now this is a stinker. Millwall versus West Brom. Millwall got slapped royally 4-0 at home to Coventry in midweek. West Brom went away to Norwich and won 1-0. But Norwich are 19th and they've started really poorly and they're just not looking right cracking, to be fair, despite squad level. Really good win for West Brom, nevertheless. And I do think teams typically do struggle at Den. I think Millwall at home are a very tricky side to go and get points off. To just win in general, I think, is a very difficult thing. Never mind to go and slap them 4-0 like Coventry did. To be fair, Middlesbrough went and beat them 3-0 in all earlier in the season, so maybe it's not got the same aura as it once did then. But West Brom are quite an experienced team as well. It has got to be said. I think they've been around the block a few times now. You know what you're going to get when you go away to Millwall. Maybe Mason doesn't. With it being his first job. And Millwall have had West Brom's number for a while now, going back years and years. They've got quite a good record at home against West Brom. I want to say that I think that'll change and that I think Millwall will win. But in all honesty, I don't. I think this is another draw. And again, to be fair, West Brom are in 4th at minute. I think they take that. Millwall need to start getting some consistency together, or it's just going to be another Millwall season where they just end up falling short like every other year ever in history. But I think West Brom will come and take a draw quite happily. It's going to be a low scorer because that's what Millwall are for the most part, unless it's flying into their own net these days. But 6 goals scored in 8 games for Millwall's nothing really, and West Brom has scored 9, conceded 7. So it's going to be a low scorer. I could see a 1-0 West Brom if I'm being completely honest, but I will go for a boring 0-0. Ugh. Pompey and Middlesbrough. Now, Portsmouth again dropping points at home. It's not a good look, lads. This is your strong point. This is what I thought would make you kick on this season. Getting a point away from home, which you just completely voided last season. They were awful. But being consistently very strong and efficient at home is what saw Portsmouth be very comfortably safe. I thought, obviously, if things change this time and you kick on a little bit, you could push further forward. But that's 2 games now at home to Sheffield Wednesday and Watford. And they've got 1 point out of them 2 games. That onks. You've got to be winning them sort of games. Middlesbrough, still one of only 2 teams who have not lost a game, same as Coventry. They have drawn 3 out of the last 4, but again, difficult fixtures. Stoke at home and no mugs at all. They went to Southampton away and Preston away. Them type of points are good. Watford at home is not a good point for anybody, really. A lot of injuries to Pompey as well, which really don't help. But they've just been crap in front of goal so far, Portsmouth. They've not had the same sort of scariness about them. They've not been as big of a threat at all so far this season, especially in front of goal. And Middlesbrough, only 5 goals conceded in 8 games. They're very good defensively. I am going to go Portsmouth 0, Middlesbrough 1. There's something about Portsmouth that's not quite clicking at the minute. And it's not through a lack of trying and all, because they've brought some decent players in. They've kept the best lads. Still got manager. There's no excuse to not be finding net as much as they are doing. But Middlesbrough, top of league for a reason. Unbeaten for a reason. Good side. 1-0 win. Preston Charlton. That stinks. That absolutely honks. 1-1. Get off my screen. Oh, God. Some of these fixtures are terrifying me. Swansea and Leicester. How? How are you supposed to pick a difference here? Swansea, the home aspect, is a complete leveller. So Leicester, who've drawn 4 games in a row anyway, at home to Wrexham and Coventry, and then away at Oxford and West Brom. What's to say we're not going for 5 draws on bounce here? Because there's no clear-cut differences with Leicester compared to any of their opponents, regardless of who they're playing. I think they sink or rise to the level of the opponent that they're playing against regardless. And they just can't put teams to sword with the quality that they've got instead of them, like a Coventry are doing, or a Middlesbrough. And they should be, because Leicester have got a very good team. The starting 11's incredible. The attacking players that they've got should be scoring a lot more than the 10 that they've got in 8 games so far. And especially against a Swansea team that's only conceded 7. But this is just another score draw, isn't it? This is another 1-1. I can't really pick a massive difference between them both. They've got borderline identical goals for and against. Leicester have just scored 1 more. And again, 1 more point. That's it. I'm going score draw. 1-1 again. Give me some proper games. Watford and Oxford. I've seen that Watford fans are calling for the manager's head already. That did make me giggle. I'm not going to lie, baby. It's been here for too long. 8 games. Get rid of him. He's had way too long. Longest serving manager at Watford in 10 years. I'm not going to lie. I think they're crap for the most part. But in the last 2 games, they did win at home to Hull and away at Portsmouth. They got a point. But I do think they've had a favourable run anyway. Because the games before that, they had Southampton at home who started poorly. Blackburn, Millwall, then Hull into Portsmouth. It's a very favourable start, and they've got some difficult fixtures coming up Watford. So I wouldn't be looking forward just yet. I'd just keep an eye on what's behind you for now. Oxford only 1 loss in 5, and it were a 6-pointer, to be fair, at home to Sheffield United, the only team to give them any points this season. But they did get a point midweek against QPR away. I do think when teams really just are going to attack them a lot, that would suit Oxford a little bit more than teams that are going to defend against them. Watford, I do think, are going to fancy the chances here, as everybody really would at home to Oxford. You're going to think you've got a chance of winning, aren't you? Textbook Oxford, textbook Gary Rowett. I do think they will go set up shop, play on counters if they ever get any, but just go for a draw. Just be very clear that they're going for a draw. It worked for him last season, for back end of season when he took over him. The 4th bottom at minute, I know they're only on 6 points, but they're keeping in line with rest of teams that are in this sort of clump anyway. Oh, God, disgraceful. I'm so disappointed with my predictions there and these results anyway. But I'm going Watford 0, Oxford 0 again. Sorry, boys, but these games onk. That being said, we are going out with a bang, baby. Ipswich versus Norwich. I'm going to be doing a watch-along for this as well, 10 to 12. I will be live. I do just think Ipswich are the miles better side. Norwich are in 19th at minute. And I know Ipswich haven't really set world on fire, have they? But they've not lost in a few weeks now, and I think they're becoming more difficult to play against. They've had some hard fixtures early doers, it's got to be said. So once they start getting into a bit of a rhythm of playing your Blackburns and Wednesdays and Watford, Portsmouth, them sort of teams, I do think they will start going on a decent little run. And to be fair, McKenna's been in charge of Ipswich for a while now, and a lot of people don't take much notice of this, but I, for some reason, do. Mainly because I'm not that interested in the tactical side of football anyway. I'm more interested in, like, that side. And McKenna's been in charge of Ipswich for a long time. He gets it. Do you know what I mean? He just gets the club. He understands what this game will mean. Liam Manning's been here 5 minutes. Is he going to have the same sort of understanding of this game as McKenna is? Personally, I don't think so. And with it being at Ipswich, and crowd's going to be massively up for it, if Liam Manning and Norwich go there and try and play possession football, they're going to get absolutely slapped about. I do think Ipswich's team is considerably better. Norwich have got some very, very good players, some massive standouts in the team. And I do think they will score. I know they didn't midweek against West Brom, but they do it majority of the games anyway. And they've took a lot of the points away from home Norwich this season so far anyway. But I don't think they're getting here. I do give Norwich a goal, but I think Ipswich will run out fairly comfortable winners. And to be fair, I could see it being a little bit of a slaughterfest. I will go Ipswich 4, Norwich 1 in the East Anglian derby, baby. But that is that. Absolute pleasure. Love you all. Kiss. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and hype the video, apparently. I know what that's all about. But thank you very much for watching. Love you all, and I'll see you in a bit. Goodbye.
I say I'm a man. Yes, I'm a mucker. I think of me saying as a right good looker. I say up that. Show us the tits.